can't give up. I must save my people.
You know why we're here. It happened.
No, I will succeed. How foolish. The end of the world is nigh. I've been preparing for you for years. Nothing will stand in my way! No! Do not fail me. Not now! How could this happen?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to share with you the build that I play for 0.4, Path of Exile 2, Fate of the Druid, Last of the Druid, Fate of the Val League, which is my Explosive Spear, Chaos Ignite Deadeye. So I'm going to just roughly do a quick intro, and then I'll show some gameplay footage during the Frenzy Charge generation video when I explain it later. So what this build is all about is actually using the newly buffed Explosive Spear, where at current stage for Frenzy Charge Explosive Spear, the build has a multiplier of 938% Frenzy Charge attack damage, which compared to the Explosion only have 633, and also has 100% increased ignite magnitude, and it also inflicts ignited ground. Okay, so technically this build can play a fully ignite build. Okay, something I need to highlight for those who came from POE1, ignited ground, ignite and ignited ground is a bit different in POE2, such that in the sense that fire damage for ignite to occur. Okay, where is it? Okay, for damage to occur, ignite is an element that deals fire damage over time, lasts 4 seconds by default. The chance for a hit to ignite a target is determined by total magnitude of flammability on the target, including the amount added by the hit. So, how it differs from POE1 is that some skills in POE1, you just need to scale chance to ignite. But for POE2, technically, for skills that do not outright inflict ignite, you need to deal enough fire damage from hits to basically inflict a debuff on an enemy called flammability. And once that flammability hit a high enough amount of percentage, then your ignite can be inflicted. So it kind of works in a complicated way compared to POE1, in the sense that you need to like ramp up the fire damage until the enemy is ignited. Yeah, I would say something like that. Okay, but because of that, most fire attacks on this game do not typically inflict. It's not actually very good for ignite because you're buffing the hit damage. But for Explosive Spear, the good thing about this is that wait, what did I take? Okay. The good thing about Explosive Spear is that when you exploit the enemy during Frenzy Charge Explosion,
then explode after a short delay.
I'll just show this from the tooltip.
If you have a frenzy charge, disengage, you'll consume it to throw a spear that explodes immediately
in a cross-shape area and also inflicts ignited ground. So there's two components, and a cross-shape explosion and then an ignited ground. The good thing about that ignited ground is that it has this line right here: ignited ground ignites enemy as though dealing the explosion damage. So technically, this build would ignite the enemy with the same attack power of the explosion, which is 938%. This is for level 24, by the way. 938% with 100% increased ignite magnitude. So technically, this Frenzy Charge skill line right here is built for explosion. Okay. Now, I'm also using this build with a multiple number of uniques, whereby I'm using Chaos Conversion with Black Flame, where it says enemies inactivated by you take chaos damage instead of fire damage. And then I'm using Crackle Creep, so that ignites you inflict spread to other enemies that stay within 1.5 meter for 1 second. This is just to further have a better clear for my skill. And then the third important unique that I'm using is on my weapon set 2 here, which is Saita Spear, where it says it has chance to cause bleeding on hit. And then if you aggravate bleeding with this weapon, it also aggravates all ignite, which is the first for both POE1 and POE2. This is what it does is, wait, it says at least one bleeding if it occur, tries to aggravate by then or wait. Yeah, here. Bleeding that has been aggravated always treat the target as moving, which causes it to deal 100% extra damage. So you can aggravate ignite. So ignite also can deal 100% extra damage, and we can use it on our weapon set 2 as a utility together with a multi-hitting skill like Spear Field, which inflicts the bleeding and also aggravates the bleeding, which also aggravate any ignite on enemy. And the good thing about that in conjunction with Explosive Spear is that because you are persistently igniting the enemy if it stays on ignited ground, so it synergizes very well with Spear Field, because Spear Field also slows the enemy, where it says here memes from this skill slow an additional 10%. So you can slow down the enemy to a crawl that way once it's inside the ignited ground, and aggravate the ignite as well. And yeah, well, basically that's the gist of the build. I'll show you how to do the frenzy charge generation after this, and also some gameplay showcase as well. Okay, so let's talk about the multiple ways the build generates frenzy charge. I'll go through all of them and then show you a quick demo. Well, I think some of them don't even need a quick demo because it's a straightforward frenzy charge generation. Okay, number 1 is parry plus disengage, where it says here disengage consumes parry debuff on hitting enemies to release a shockwave and grant you frenzy charge. And this skill was buffed this league, so that at higher level, at level 8 and 16, it grants you additional frenzy charge on parry consumption. So
disengage flips backwards as you stab enemies in front of you.
I'll just show you the.
Just parried an enemy with your buckler.
It grants you that frenzy charge. I'll just show you through that video tooltip. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is Call the Weak. Call the Weak is here, where it says on culling enemies, it grants you a frenzy charge if that attack kills the enemy when you press it, and the enemy will have a blue orb highlight to show you which enemies can be cull.
Cull the weak.
This is the showcase. You can see here that blue orb is the indicator for that the enemies can be culled.
Will display this indicator. Killing an enemy with this skill grants you a friend.
Okay, so that's pretty much straightforward. And the good thing about this skill is that those 2 ways to generate frenzy charge is available very early in the game, where Explosive Spear and Disengage is a level 1 skill gem, and then Call the Weak is level 3. So technically you can play this build from very early on. Okay, number 3 is Catalysis, which is this node right here near the Ranger starting tree, where it says physical damage from hits taken as damage of a random element. So when you pair this with a unique charm, Valakus Roar, used when you take a lightning damage from hit, it grants you a frenzy charge. So those 2 pairing allows your any physical hit damage taken from the enemy to be converted to either fire, lightning or cold. And if you get lucky and the damage is converted to lightning, you get a frenzy charge from that way. And then finally, the reason we use Deadeye is to have where is it? Here, call shots, where it says apply a socketed mark skill to a nearby unmarked enemy every few seconds, which is every 5 seconds. And consuming socketed marks will cause them to be reapplied to a nearby unmarked enemy. So it kind of changes provided you consume that mark. And we socket Sniper's Mark, where it says here mark a target. The next target the next critical hit the target receives activates the mark, consuming it to deal extra damage and grant you a frenzy charge. We pair this together with our utility skill, Spear Field, where our Spear Field has a tooltip crit chance of 35%, but this is actually good enough because Spear Field is a multi-hitting skill, and chances are the enemy will grant you a frenzy charge that way. And also because we are, where is it? We use a new support gem, Eternal Mark, where marks from supported skill are not consumed the first time they activate. So technically you can, and together with Charge Profusion, you can get 2 mark per enemy every 5 seconds, and there's also a chance, basically a 60% chance to a lucky 30% chance to grant a third frenzy charge. Okay, I'll show you the catalysis charge generation first. I'll turn off everything. Take note of this Valakut's Charm charge. Then it goes to 1 and then straight away grants us a frenzy charge. Okay, next is the call shots. So when you meet an enemy during mapping, just hit it with the Spear Field and it automatically generate frenzy charge. And because the mark will basically chain to other nearby enemies as well, you can consistently get frenzy charge that way. The only weakness of this call shot is that, number 1, it auto targets the enemy, so you can't choose which target you have. So basically when you find a mob pack, you need to find which enemy has the sniper's mark applied to hit him with a Spear Field. And number 2 is that it only applies every 5 seconds. But basically how you do the mapping is, okay, I already have a frenzy charge, I'll hit my frenzy, I aggravate the bleeding, and then hit it. And whenever you are out of frenzy charge, just pay attention on the screen to see which enemy has that sniper's mark, and then aim your Spear Field in that general direction. You see, for example here, I'm out of a frenzy. Okay, what can I do? I can either parry and then get 3 charges straight away, or parry and disengage, or I can just find the run around within 5 seconds and then find the enemy with sniper's mark to get that frenzy charge from the enemy. But something I need to highlight is that if you kill the enemy with an ignite like this, for example, you don't consume the mark because you don't crit the enemy, so you don't get frenzy charge that way. So this is just some clunkiness that you need to be aware of. So you can technically just spam explosive arrow all the time to get frenzy from the mark enemy, because chances are, if your spear don't crit, your ignite would kill the enemy straight away. So it's just something that I think it's important to highlight. Anyway, that's about it on the frenzy charge generation. Okay, so when you meet a tougher enemy like the map boss, for example, you want to preload the field with Spear Field, and then together with call shot sniper's mark, chances are that when the enemy becomes hittable, all of your Spear Field will hit and it will generate you a frenzy charge at that point. And then you press War Banner and disengage if you want to spread that consecrated ground. And then once the enemy becomes spawned, your frenzy charge generates, you can straight away launch your explosive spear on your boss. But if you want to go even further than that, you can also use parry, because chances are when the boss spawns, it doesn't straight away use an unblockable hit. So Spear Field, wait for the boss to spawn and hit you, to hit him with a frenzy charge, with a parry debuff, and then spam your explosive spear. Then after that, Spear Field again to aggravate the bleeding on the enemy, aggravate the ignite on the enemy. Let's show that in practice. tier 16 by tier 15 by the way. Okay. And during bossing, you don't even have to care about how to generate frenzy charge except relying on your call shots. Okay, this boss is kind of bad for showcase purpose because unless you one phase him, he can run to the lava. Scary. The bulk of the ignite will be on the igniting ground. So when the boss runs like this for each of his phase, it's the DPS kinda drops down because our ignite duration is kinda low. The reason we don't care about ignite duration that much is because when we have that ignited ground, it persistently inflicts flammability and equal magnitude of ignite. So where it says here, where is it? Dealing more damage in the cross-ship area and creating ignited ground, and the ignited ground says here ignites enemy as though dealing the explosion damage. So since ignited ground lasts 8 seconds, it persistently inflicts the explosive spear explosion as if it's always igniting the enemy. That's why as long as the enemy stays on the ignited ground, the enemy will be persistently ignited. So even if you have 1 second of ignite, but the boss stays on the ignited ground, your effective ignite duration, it will become the same as your ignited ground duration, which is 8 seconds. So this is why it synergizes very well with Black Flames, where it says reduce ignite duration on enemies. Anyway, that's about it for the boss showcase. Okay, just to quickly summarize about the build, I'm just spending my time here in this video just to explain how the build properly plays and the mechanics involved on in the build. But I'll summarize also what I'm doing with it right now. Okay, number 1, for weapon set 1, we have our main damaging skill with also our main spear together with Omen. Okay, sorry. For weapon set 1, we want to focus on basically when we are actually killing the enemy. So things like here, duration of damaging element deal faster damage, damaging element cannot be inflicted, increased magnitude of damaging element, area of effect per enemy you've ignites you deal damage faster. So that's pretty much for weapon set 1. For weapon set 2, which is the one we'll be using for our parry and spear field. Okay, we have our hazard node right here, parry, more crits, and then some skill speed. And also here, area of effect for attacks and chance to daze on hit. So weapon set 1 for damage, weapon set 2 for utility, which is parry and spear field. Okay, so the mandatory unique will be Black Flame, Cracker Clip, and Scyther Spear. The build really comes online once you have all 3, which is around level 30 or something. And these are very cheap uniques, by the way. Shouldn't be much of a problem for you to get them. And then the equipment. Okay, sorry. Before I go to the equipment, just this is the passive skill tree. I'll just give you a quick run through just from the video so that you can understand which nodes I need to allocate. Can pause the video at any time. Anyway, moving on. For our equipment, basically we want life, resistance, evasion, and deflection, and that's pretty much it for most of our build, most of our equipment. Our amulet, we want again life resistances, rarity, always nice, and also plus level to projectile skills. For omen, we want increased spirits. I recommend at least up to. Wait, why am I? Oh, I have
Swift as an arrow.
I recommend at least 140 spirit, and also some stats on it, either intelligence or strength, with socketed rune for more stats. And something that I need to highlight about this build is that it can be kind of hard to get the required stats to run all of this, because the build uses dexterity for defensive equipment, intelligence for chaos damage scaling for blasphemy and withering presence, and strength for most slot in the support skill gem. So you need to have all three stats, so can be kind of hard to balance all that. Anyway, I'm not going to go over through my skill gems and everything in detail. I'll just write a short comprehensive guide on Mobalytics, and you can view the build that I have currently on there. And as usual, if you have any question, feel free to ask me. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.